everyone! Okay, so first thing before I actually get into this video, I need to apologise because you may have noticed, if you are a normal viewer of my YouTube channel, that I haven't actually uploaded in a few weeks. I'm really sorry. I basically just took a few weeks off. It's been my Easter holidays, and to be honest, I don't actually have an excuse. I just wanted to take a few weeks off, so I hope you didn't mind that. But I am back with weekly uploads, so yes, I have a lot of things planned actually over the next few weeks, so really exciting. So if you haven't already, please don't forget to subscribe and click the little bell notification, because for some reason YouTube recently isn't always letting people know when people upload videos. So if you click that bell, you'll get a notification to let you know when I've uploaded. So yeah, please go and do that if you haven't already. But yes, getting into this video, I thought I would do a kind of how I do my skin makeup when I have more problem skin, because this doesn't happen to me quite often, and I just thought it might help some of you out there who maybe do suffer with a few spots or have acne. I've never actually suffered with acne. I do often get spots, but like I've never suffered with really bad acne, which is really, like, I'm really glad that I haven't. What I'm trying to say is this is how I like to do my makeup skin routine if I do have a few spots or blemishes. First of all, what I'll do is kind of get into what I kind of want to kind of almost fix on my face, and then I'll show you how I am going to do it. So yeah, I hope you enjoy. Okay, so at the moment, because it's kind of going in between weathers, it's going kind of a bit warmer, more into spring weather now, it always happens just in that in-between weather, my skin goes really dry. So I've just noticed recently I have kind of dry patches on my cheeks. Like I can tell, like kind of this area here and kind of up here. I can feel it on my skin, it's gone quite dry. I can always tell that when my foundation starts to kind of cling a bit, and that's how I know I'm getting dry patches. I said this is not something I suffer with all year round, but it's normally when the weather starts to change. It normally lasts up to a few weeks, so I'll show you how I rectify that. And also, for some reason, foundation doesn't seem to sit very well, like all the way along my nose, so sort of starting from about here, so kind of from like the bottom half of my T-zone, it's like all the way down here. I don't have oily skin normally, so don't really know why that happens, but it just doesn't want to sit very well. So I'll show you kind of what foundation movements I do to kind of help that. I know some areas of the skin don't absorb the foundation as much as they should do, so yeah, I'll kind of show you a few tips and tricks for that. And also I have quite a few spots and blemishes at the moment. This is something that I do suffer with. I'm a girl, I don't think it's anything in particular, it's just, I just get them. So at the moment I have a few on my forehead by here. I have one quite big one, if you can see that one there, on the side, and I don't know whether that's a bite because I don't normally get spots on like kind of the side of my face, so it's quite big, so it's quite sore as well, so I need to cover that. And really annoyingly, I have two spots on my lip. I don't know if you can see them, but they are really sore as well, so I'm going to try and cover those up. So that is kind of like the main areas of my face that I kind of want to work on. So I'll show you how I do everything step by step now. I obviously have done my brows and eye makeup, but I haven't done anything else on my face. So yes, let's get started. Okay, the first thing I do is moisturise my face. So I'm using the Liz Earle Skin Repair Moisturiser. I absolutely love this moisturiser. I think it's really good and it does the job. This is for dry to sensitive skin, and that is exactly my skin type. So what this is going to do is I'm going to put this obviously all over my face, but I'm concentrating it on the kind of drier areas of my face. This will kind of help just to soak in a bit better, and it should kind of help the foundation to not grab to the dry patches as much. I mean, it probably will do a tiny little bit throughout the day, but it shouldn't be as bad. So I just kind of pop this all over. I love the smell of this, it's quite kind of like relaxing. But I sometimes put a little bit extra just on any dry patches. Okay, I just let that moisturiser sink into my skin a little bit, and now I'm going to prime. I'm using this from MSK. This is the Pore Perfecting Complexion Primer. You can see like this is quite old now, but I still really like this, and I will probably, if they still even sell it, I'm pretty sure they do, I will repurchase it because it's really good. I also love the Benefit Professional if you're looking for another primer, or if you're looking for a cheaper alternative, that Maybelline Baby Skin is also really good. So what a primer does is it kind of creates a kind of layer in between your like skin and your foundation. This will mean that it'll just make your foundation stay on for so much longer, and it really does make a difference. Like, I can always tell a difference when I'm not wearing primer and when I am wearing primer. My foundation just lasts so much longer, and I feel like especially for those days where I have drier skin, or I just want my foundation to stay on for so much longer, then I will always use a primer. You don't need much of this, I'll show you now. So I'm going to put some onto my hand, there you go, like that's how much I would normally use. As I said, you don't need a lot, and I just put this, I don't put it like, you don't need a lot, you don't need to put it everywhere, but I just put it on the main parts of my face, and then I just massage that in. I actually saw, I think it was on Twitter recently, a picture of like someone who'd put foundation on an orange, I think it was, and did one stripe without primer and then one stripe with primer, and like the difference was crazy. So I always do recommend to people, you know, if they say their foundation doesn't stay on for long or it doesn't sit right on their face, I always say try a primer, because that could be the answer. So yes. Okay, so now my skin is nicely prepped, I am going to go on to foundation. Now for the days where I do want a little bit more coverage, you will all know this is my favourite foundation anyway, I use my MAC Studio Fix Fluid. This one is in NW13, because I'm still quite pale at the moment. This foundation is really good. It is a kind of, I would say, medium to buildable coverage. Like you can build it to quite full coverage. I really like it because it also stays on my skin for so long. The only problem I have found with this, it does cling to dry patches a tiny bit, so I always make sure if I am wearing the foundation that I always do the steps I've just done, just because I know then it won't cling as much. I will mention another foundation that I've been loving at the moment is this one from Tarte. This is the Amazon Clay 12 Hour Full Coverage Foundation. This one is in Fairlight Honey, if you're wondering. Really like this too, but I am going to use my MAC one. Basically, you want to just choose a foundation that really suits your skin and your skin type and your undertone as well. I have done a whole video on undertone, which was quite a long time ago, but I always kind of refer back to that, and I think undertone is very important too. So yes, I am just taking this foundation, I've given it a good shake so you can see all the product. And now I'm going to be taking this brush. This is a Spectrum BO1 brush, which probably needs a wash, but anyway, I'm going to be taking this brush, and this is a really nice sized brush. Like, it's not too big, but it's also really nice for kind of buffing and blending in foundation. Especially, as I said today, I've done my eyes, so I don't want to kind of get a big brush and, like, you know, start to ruin everything. So what I do is I take this brush and a bit of the foundation, I just take it straight onto the brush, and then I kind of dot it on to my face like this. So I start on my cheeks, on my nose, I just kind of dot them on like that, and then I kind of go from the centre and work outwards. I just start to kind of, I normally do more of a buffing motion. Some people stipple their foundation on, but I kind of like to buff it in. I just noticed I actually have a spot right by my eyebrow as well, so that's great. I'll have to try and cover that. But yeah, just continue to buff that, and then on my nose, kind of do the same thing. I'll just swipe it over. We'll concentrate on kind of this area up afterwards. But I'll just do this side first. Just again buff that in. Now, because this foundation is pretty full coverage anyway, it tends to cover quite a lot of the spots. So so you'll be able to see the spot I had there, after kind of blending some foundation over it, it has actually started to cover it a little bit. But I will show you what I do afterwards. Continuing to buff this half of my face. I also make sure I kind of take it down to my neck. The colour match isn't too bad, but I just like to make sure. Now, as I said about the spots on my lips, what I am going to do is just kind of take this brush and go over my bottom lip, just with the leftover foundation. Okay, I'm now going to do this half of my face. So again, I'm going to take some more foundation onto my brush, and I'm just going to swipe that on. And then what I do straight away is take that down to this part. Now what I like to do is stipple this bit because, as I said before, my foundation doesn't like to stay there. So if I stipple it, I find it does stay on for a lot longer. Stippling just means you kind of just take the brush and you do that. Just kind of go like that. And then I blend it onto the rest. Making sure that you cover all the way up to your hairline as well, because especially a foundation that maybe doesn't match quite as well, you want to make sure you take it all over your face. Okay, so that is foundation done. So what I like to do once I've done my foundation is just look at my face basically and see kind of what parts I want to add a bit more coverage to, especially kind of spots and blemishes, what needs a bit more covering up. First of all though, I am going to take this, which is the Maybelline Instant Anti-Age The Eraser Eye. This one is the neutralizer. And I'm going to pop this underneath my eyes because I do have slight bags, so what I like to do is just take this. I don't take a lot of the product, just under there, and it just really helps to brighten underneath your eyes. Even if you don't suffer with really bad kind of dark circles or anything, I always like to take this because I think it just makes a real difference to the whole look. Okay, and then what I'm going to do is take my Real Techniques Miracle Complexion Sponge, which really does need a wash, and I like to take the kind of tip part of it and use that to just blend that in. So you can sort of see how much a difference that's made. Okay, so now time for concealer. Love this concealer. This is the Boy Concealer from Benefit, and this one's in 01. I always go back to this concealer because I think it's like the best. It is actually called Industrial Strength Concealer, so basically it helps if you have any spots. It will help to kind of make them go faster basically, in a kind of more healthier way as well. So what I like to do is just take my ring finger in that, and what I'm going to do then is just pop this on any spots that I want to cover. So for example, this one on my forehead, I'm just going to tap that on, and I just make sure it kind of blends into my foundation because you don't want a kind of like ring of, of concealer, so I just make sure it blends in. And my lip ones as well. Okay, now I think the biggest part now is making sure this stays in place all day. So powder. Again, as I said, I don't have oily skin, so I don't powder to kind of reduce the oil. I powder just to make sure everything lasts. So this is what I'm using. It's the Rimmel Stay Matte in 001 Transparent. You can see how much I love this. And I'm going to be taking the Spectrum BO3 brush, which is a lovely sized brush. It's kind of like a really mini bluffing brush, as you can see. So what I'm going to do is take a bit of this product, and first of all I like to go underneath my eyes to set the under eye concealer we put on, because then it will kind of help the under eye situation a little bit, because what happens sometimes is the eyeliner will start, or eyeshadow or mascara, whatever, will start to react with the concealer, and it will kind of be more panderized. So if you set it into place, that shouldn't happen as much. I'm then going to take this on to where I conceal the spots. And now if you want extra strength concealer, pop more concealer on top of the spot, and once you've powdered it, and then powder it again. It will kind of like sandwich everything together, but for today I don't need to do that. A little tip if you do want kind of extra strength concealer. So yeah, I sometimes do that if I have a really stubborn spot. So yeah, I'm just kind of powdering those parts. And then I'm going to take my Real Techniques buffing brush and just kind of swirl it. I don't take much product, and I kind of just take this onto the rest of my face. Okay, and that is pretty much how I've kind of done my face makeup really. And the only few things I'm going to do is just add a bit of blusher and a little bit of highlighter just to kind of bring a bit of more life back into my face. So I'll quickly show you how to do those. I'm taking my Tarte palette, which is so gorgeous, look at that. This is the Blush, I can never say this, Blush Bliss palette. And I love these colours, look at them. Taking these last two colours, they are graceful and lovable. I'm kind of going to mix them together. I'm using a Spectrum AO4 brush to do this. So I just like to smile, put this onto my cheeks and kind of work the product up. And then I'm going to be taking the MAC Mineralized Skin Finish is Soft and Gentle, which I've been loving recently, and I kind of just use this with a really big brush. This is the Resix Blush Brush. Kind of just do a bit of that, and then just take that onto the high points of my face. Okay, and to finish everything off, I'm using the MAC Fix Plus. Again, really like this, and I just spray this all over my face. It just helps everything kind of set into place and stay all day basically. Okay, so I just popped a little bit of lip gloss on, but that is the finished look. Yes, I hope this may have helped some of you. I do have problems getting quite often, so this is kind of almost like my everyday routine at the moment. But yes, I do hope you enjoyed. Please let me know if you did. Don't forget to give the video a massive thumbs up if you did. Leave me a comment below, and also, as I said, don't forget to subscribe to our channel. I love you all lots, so I'll see you all in my next video. Lots of love. Bye!